The Path of the Initiate, Wisdom from the Orient. This narrative chronicles a profound spiritual journey, detailing the transformation of an individual through rigorous ancient initiations that bridge the gap between human limitation and divine realization. The protagonist, Jeshuao, undergoes a metamorphosis from a seeker in the British Isles to an adept in the sacred caves of the East. His path is marked by the shedding of ego, the mastery of physical and mental discipline, and the ultimate recognition of the universal self. Through the guidance of his guru Ramanchana, he explores the complex interplay of karma, dharma, and the absolute unity of all existence, the Druidic foundation and the call to the East. The early stages of Jeshuao's development take place within the tranquil landscape of Somersetshire, near the River Brue. Here, he serves in the sacred roles of Druid, Bard, and Ubate, counseling simple folk and embodying the synthesis of divine principles within a human form. This period is defined by a sense of community and service, providing a necessary grounding for his later, more intense spiritual trials. The Druidic role, he acts as a spiritual bridge, translating heroic archetypes such as those of the Knights of the Table Round into moral precepts that elevate the community. Connection to Arimathea, the text highlights the reputation of Joseph of Arimathea as the man of tin, emphasizing the economic and cultural exchange between the Orient and Britain. Symbolic landscape, the Isle of Avalon serves as a place of retreat, a site where the promise of a glorious future temple takes root in his mind, reinforcing the sanctity of his environment. Philosophical foundations of the Hindu path. Upon traveling to the Orient, Jeshuao's education transitions from communal service to the intensive, individualized instruction of the yogi. Under the guidance of his guru, he learns that the Supreme Spirit pervades all of creation, existing even within the breath itself. This section outlines the core tenets of his learning, which focus on the removal of the false perception of separateness from the divine. 1. The nature of karma. Karma is presented not as a static, punitive force, but as an inevitable movement of the law of dharma seeking equilibrium. 2. The power of enlightenment. Adepts or true yogis are described as those who have transcended the cycle of karma through enlightenment and the removal of ignorance. 3. The role of the body. The human form is honored as a temple, requiring strict discipline and mental control, akin to curbing a wild horse, to become a suitable vessel for the most holy. The Cavern of Elephanta and the rites of initiation. The heart of the narrative lies within the Cavern of Elephanta, an ancient rock-carved temple shrouded in mystery. Here, the protagonist undergoes the Char Ashuram, or the 4 initiations. These rites are designed to push the aspirant to the absolute limit of physical and mental endurance, forcing a confrontation with fear, passion, and the ultimate reality of life and death. The Ritual of Darkness. Jeshuao is confined in a tomb, tasked with keeping his eyes open and maintaining constant adoration for Vishnu, illustrating the necessity of unwavering focus amidst trials. The Burden of Sita. In a grueling mime, he carries a heavy statue of the goddess of perfection, learning that the black night of the soul is a necessary struggle to overcome the loss of faith and the attachment to transient forms. The Avataric mimes, these dramatic reenactments, teach profound spiritual truths regarding service, the destruction of fear through courage, and the realization that the aspirant must eventually surpass the limitations of their own teachers to achieve liberation. Transcendence and the unification of self. The climax of these initiations occurs when Jeshuao experiences a profound separation of his radiant self from his physical body. This moment of enlightenment provides the visual and emotional validation of his spiritual training. He witnesses the liberation of the soul, symbolized by the golden lotus, and realizes that the supreme God and the universe are fundamentally one. The radiant self. Jeshuao experiences himself in 2 places simultaneously, viewing his battered physical form from the vantage point of his liberated, radiant spirit. The symbol of the lotus. This serves as a metaphor for the soul's journey, beginning in the mud of earth and rising to float freely in the air of divine awareness. Integration and healing. Following the initiation, his physical wounds heal rapidly, signifying that the transformation is not merely conceptual, but holds tangible, restorative power over his entire being. The persistence of duty and the moral life. Even after attaining states of high enlightenment, the protagonist is reminded that his development is not an excuse to retreat from the world. Instead, the final lessons emphasize that life must be improved through the qualification of divine energy by the human mind. The contrast between his spiritual triumphs and the external conflict, represented by the harsh treatment from the Druid priests, highlights the tension between individual enlightenment and social obligation. 1. The law of duty, the ominous inscription, "Choose duty or you choose death," underscores that faith without corresponding action or service is incomplete. 2. The persistence of struggle. Despite achieving the highest states of consciousness, the physical world continues to present challenges, such as the betrayal by his peers, which he must navigate with the same equanimity he learned during his trials. 3. The return to teaching. His journey concludes with the call to go forth and teach, using the wisdom he has gained to uplift others, thereby confirming that the highest stage of initiation is the selfless service of humanity. In summary, this account presents the spiritual evolution of the individual as a rigorous process of shedding ego and material constraints to achieve union with the divine. By navigating the challenges of the physical world while maintaining an internal, radiant connection to the all-pervading spirit, the initiate reconciles the black night of the soul with the ecstasy of transcendence. Ultimately, the lessons of the Orient teach that the true purpose of life is to recognize one's inherent divinity and to perform one's duty with unwavering faith, ensuring that the light of the spirit informs every action taken within the physical world,